a lot of people accept Islam in their teenage years or their early adulthood because that's the time of your life where you're ready to support a cause. You're ready to challenge everything. You're ready to think about things differently, and you're ready to strike out on your own and make an identity for yourself that maybe is different from the identity that you were inherited or that you were gifted through lineage or your culture or whatever. And so a lot of people then they feel hesitant or not sure, how am I supposed to tell my parents? How am I supposed to tell my relatives or my community? And that's a case-by-case basis. Sometimes some people are certain situations where it makes a lot of sense to wait. You don't have to be in a rush to tell anybody, especially if you might be in a situation. A lot of times people get kicked out of the home, and then that has really, really horrible sort of consequences. I know brothers personally that have lived in masjids. I know a brother personally, and he was a student in Medina with me that accepted Islam as a teenager, and his aunt kicked him out of the home. And so he went and lived in the basement of his local masjid, and he used to cook for his meals. He would cook pasta by putting it in a pitcher of water and put it in the window, the sunny window. That was how he ate. So you don't want to get in that situation if you can avoid it. If you need to kind of conceal, go pray in secret, pray in your room, like whatever. The important thing is that you're on a trend. You have a plan, right? Which way are you trending? Are you getting better day by day? Are you getting to a point? Because you also don't want to be a poor representative of Islam. If you don't necessarily know what you're talking about, and some people are going to start peppering you with questions, right? It might be a kind of uncomfortable thing, as opposed to if you take a little bit of time. You take a little bit of time and you're able to get settled in your identity, come to know a few things, and be able to sort of respond to common doubts or common sort of misunderstandings, right? Like my aunt, I have an aunt that has she's not an aunt, she's like a family friend who is of Jewish heritage. And when I accepted Islam, she was like, well, what does this mean for us and our relationship? Because in her mind, she's a Jew or ethnically a Jew, and now I'm a Muslim, and we're supposed to be enemies or something. And I told her, no, we've been kicking it for years, for hundreds of years. It was only very recently that any problems started. You go back to Muslim Spain and, there was no problems. So people need to be educated, okay? So sometimes it makes sense to take your time. There are other situations, though, where, you can get away with, or actually it might benefit you to come out with it right away. Like some people have parents, that are very, very supportive. Even if they're not ready to accept it themselves, they're kind of like Abu Talib, like they're ready to support somebody else. It's like, you know what? That makes sense for you. And if you need me to drive you to the masjid, I'll take you and whatever. There's people out there like that. And so if that's your situation, then, go ahead, because then you've got maybe even more support and access and resources from people around you that can see that you're trying to help yourself and will at least support you in helping yourself, even if they're not necessarily ready to take it on or think about it for themselves.